Before we go to the hockey part of it, I think I should, on behalf of the organization and the players and everybody involved in OEG, they recognize the EPS here for the great job that they did on the weekend. And we're thinking about the victims of that tragedy here in our city. And, you know, they're part of our team. We consider all the fans part of our team. And we hope that they all heal well. And then, of course, the tragedy in Vegas, we're all thinking about that today, too. It's hit our team. We're all aware of it. And prayers go out to everybody. Hockey.
Yes. With Yamamoto still here, and you made some decisions on other guys, at the end of the day, why did you sort of make the decision that he was ready to remain to this point and possibly see some regular season games?
Evidence, the games that he played. It doesn't mean that will continue. You know, he's got to pick his game up now, and it's going to get tougher. But in our opinion, he won that job, and it's as simple as that. That's why you have training camp. Guys compete from day one on, and like I said, when we were in the planning stages of training camp after the draft, I didn't have him penciled in, but he came here and he opened up our eyes, and I feel comfortable putting him on the ice, and he's earned the right to open the season with our team.
Around the league, there's 18 and 19-year-olds. A few make it, most don't. What are the things that he's doing and that any young player has to show his coach to stick at that age?
Well, he doesn't change his game. I think a lot of 18 and 19-year-olds, they bring something to the table, and then they either get too safe or they get too risky. Yamo plays the game the same way night in and night out. He makes good, smart plays. He's very intelligent, so you can trust him, whether it's penalty killing, power play, in the D zone. Not the biggest guy, so he's learned to use his instincts and his intelligence to be productive. And trust is a big thing for young players as they enter the league. The coaching staff, his teammates, they all have to trust him, and I think Yamo's earned that to this point.
You have 9 games to make a decision whether he stays here for good. Do you plan on using all 9 games to kind of get an evaluation?
Day at a time. It would be the best answer for me. We'll practice tomorrow, we'll play the following day, and then we'll reevaluate everything, just like we do all the time. And players will work their way up and down the lineup, and as we get going, everything will settle in, and the players will earn what they get, including Yamo.
That's the same strategy you're going with Connor and Leon. I know you thought maybe having Leon down the middle, now you're going to start him at the wing. Is that a game-by-game basis, or do you have a plan?
It's a game-by-game basis. It's what we feel our needs are. It's the opposition. It's the time of game. You know, and we'll make decisions as we go. And a large part of it is the effectiveness of our right wingers in that spot. If we can find a guy that consistently complements Connor and Patty Maroon, then we'll look at it more often.
How do they have to complement? I know it's not just about points for you, Todd. What are you looking for a right winger to be effective who's not Leon Draisaitl on that side?
Well, those players have to, one, be able to keep up to Connor's pace and think the game like he does. They have to be able to improvise because he's very creative and he goes to different spots, and really keep plays alive, in my opinion. Like it's one thing Leon does is when he's in the offensive zone and maybe something breaks down, he has the ability to strip or get his body in the way, and he keeps the play alive. So therefore, we're in the other team's end a little bit longer with our best players.
What was communicated to Jesse Puljujarvi on his way out? What does he need to?
Jesse needs more time. We expect Jesse, when he arrives and is ready to play, and the same can be said for Yamo, to play in our top 9 minimum, not on the 4th line. And we didn't feel like he won that position, and therefore we wanted to get him into Bakersfield and have him start the season there and get him working on his game.
When you look at go back to 2 years ago when you get drafted and you got to go through the combine and the rookie deals and all that sort of thing, and then last year you had the World Championship, and then he plays for you in the World Cup. How does he go into this season compared to that?
Hungry, confident, leading. Those are probably three of the words that I would use. And, you know, he has ascended upwards in the within the league to where he's one of the top players, if not the top player in the league. But I sure don't see any satisfaction in him on a daily basis. He's trying to find ways to get better. He's trying to lead this team to more wins, to playing longer in the fall, pardon me, in the spring. And that hunger drives other guys as well. I think it's a great leadership quality.
Todd, you had looks for Kajula on the right side. You had looks for Strome. I assume Slapashev may have gotten an opportunity there. Puljujärvi. Are you, the fact that none of those other guys really grabbed onto that, are you surprised that there wasn't a fit considering how many guys you tried there and the opportunity they were given?
No, because the sample size is fairly small. We wanted to give different people, or different players, pardon me, an opportunity to play there. And, you know, in some sense, if we could have settled on an individual and went a little bit longer, maybe we would have found out more about it, but we wouldn't have known what the other guys could or couldn't do. And, you know, we have 200 days of hockey in front of us. There's going to be many players that play with Connor and many that play with Leon throughout the season. I mentioned about a week ago, I don't think training camp ends. I think it's just extends into the regular season. And mentioned to the players that now you've competed, you've earned a job, now you're competing for ice time. You know, everybody in the room wants to be on a power play or on a penalty kill. They want to play at least 2 extra minutes a night. Well, show us. And if you're that guy and you continue to get more, that means you're playing well. And if it happens to dwindle a little bit, maybe you should look at yourself and get yourself going.
Todd, it seems that the number for Talbot's appearances is something less than 73. I was just looking at well, it seems like that's been kind of communicated that you'd like him to play less than previous
Is that
years.
how many you played? I don't even know how many
It
games
was,
you
sorry,
played
it was
last year.
73,
Okay,
yes.
good.
So,
Yeah.
with the way the schedule is spaced out at the beginning, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, and then again the following Saturday, does that make it harder maybe to throw in Brossoit as soon as you would like? Or
You know, Talbot is going to start against Calgary, and we're going to practice the next day, and we're going to go from there. So you know, we're trying to win games. We're trying to get everybody up and running. I expect Cam to play like he did all of last year, where he's on the top of his game, and he forces us to make very, very tough decisions on a nightly basis. Given that schedule, you know, if he is on the top of his game, it may be a little bit longer for LB to get the net, but Talbot's like anybody else. His play is going to dictate how much and when, certainly off the bat.
One of the other competitions heading in was for, you know, some increased minutes because Secker is not available. Matt Benning has been in that spot with Russell so far. What have you thought of Matt, and are you comfortable with that as a second pairing heading into the regular season?
Well, the group as a whole, I think we've got to polish some things up on the blue line. Everybody can take their play up a notch, and everybody has to take their play up with Sakara out of the lineup. It's not just Matt Benning's responsibility, it's a number of others, and I think that we can be better back there. We're going to push our group to be better, and it's going to be by committee, you know, including AV as our 7th guy or 6th guy, whatever it might be to start the season.
Todd, did Anton have a little bit of a setback at all? Does he plan maybe to play Saturday?
Yeah, he was, you know, there goes your plan out the door. He was supposed to play, and everything was good body-wise, and then the flu bug snuck in, or food poisoning. I don't know what it was, but he couldn't keep anything down, and quick change in plans.
So it wasn't physical as ankle? Do you have any time?
No, it wasn't. The other day, not playing in Vancouver had nothing to do with, you know, with anything other than his stomach and not feeling good.
Todd, this is an organization that hasn't been in a position where people are picketed as a cup contender for many, many, many years. You've been through this in San Jose a lot. How do you approach it? You got a good team here now, a real good team. How do you approach coaching a team compared to when you showed up here?
Well, we're further along in the process. I think that's quite evident. We've rebuilt the team. We've earned the right to be confident, and people are talking about us that way. But in my opinion, that just makes it more difficult. It's easy to play when there's not a lot of pressure on you and expectations are fairly low. When people begin to paint a target on you and you have to perform with that target on your back night in and night out, the scrutiny begins. And I believe I mentioned right at the beginning of training camp, we will get tested during the year. And You know, when it's raining and the storms arrived and things aren't going so well for us, how do we react? How do we behave? Make sure our leadership group's proper. Do we dig in? Do we start pointing fingers at each other and blaming each other? We'll have a few tests like that. There's no doubt about it. That's what those elite teams go through, you know, year in and year out. And the really good ones overcome it.